What's going on, golf addicts? Welcome to Tour Junkies After Dark for the 2021 Players Championship from TPC Sawgrass. I am David Barnett of the Tour Junkies. I got Pat Perry with me. Also,
Hi.
the Tour Junkies. It is late on Monday night. We have recorded. We've recorded our own show. We've had a lot of podcast juice. Pat's sipping some wine. I got some unnamed vodka because no free ads. This is DraftKings.
No free ads.
Not doing that. Go ahead and give the show a thumbs up if you don't mind. We know you're going to like it. We know you're going to like it, okay? We got some good stuff. We're going to talk some DraftKings Sportsbook betting odds. We're going to talk about how the course is going to play. It's a good time. Pat, let's get into this. On our podcast for the DraftKings preview show, we had PGA Tour caddy Brett Swedberg on the show for about 10 or 15 minutes. He's on site at the Players Championship. He caddies for Ryan Moore. And we just had Brett talk to us a little bit about how the course is going to play. Because, if you don't know, the Players Championship was in May for a long time. It got moved up to March in 2019 when Rory McIlroy won. Obviously, it was supposed to be held there last year in 2020 when the pandemic hit this time last year. The whole world changed, and we had no Players Championship. But the course being moved from May to March is actually a big deal. It changes the way the course plays. It changes the conditions, the grass, the Bermuda, the overseed. A lot of people on Twitter talking about how these greens are going to play. Anyway, Pat, summarize for the people what Brett Swedberg, PGA Tour caddy, said and what we know about how the course is set up to play and what you're thinking in terms of some key stats to look at.
Well, I mean, here's how I can simplify it. I mean, look, Brett Swedberg as a caddy. I mean, he's a good looking dude. Okay, so let me tell you something. Here's how that translates to the course. They want this course to be a good looking course. So what do you do when you get into the winter months and you get into the
seed, dog.
You throw that seed out there. You throw that ryegrass out there. You throw that bent with some POA mixed into it on top of the Bermuda. Because what happens to Bermuda in the wintertime? It goes dormant and it looks ugly. So it gets all tiny looking. It shrivels up. So that's what happens when you get into the winter months into the spring before you get into the summer, like they've played at this course before in May for the longest time. So here's what that means. That means this course is going to be playing a lot softer off the tee in the fairways and in the rough. The rough is not all that penal with this rye, with this Bermuda overseeded with rye. I think that's important to know. It's a softer course, but on the greens, it's not necessarily that soft. I think it plays a little bit more firm. It plays a little bit more like bent grass greens as opposed to Bermuda here. They are relatively small greens. So I think, when you look at how you got to play this course, you got to hit these fairways, you got to hit these greens in regulation, and then you just got to have a hot putter this week. Now, does that mean that you need to necessarily look at a whole lot of putting stats going into the week? I don't think so. But I do think you want to look at some guys that are maybe in better recent form when it comes to putting. But in general, recent form, I think, is really key this week. We see that every year. And I think you see the cream rise to the top, for the most part here. I think bombers, they always have an advantage. But a lot of these holes out here, they're going to have to take less than driver off the tee. I think that's something to look at. Almost anybody can win on this course. And it's going to be a great week. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough test. That's what they like to do for the Players Championship. I mean, this is, the tour likes to set this up as their primo event. You know what we have not said, David, by the way?
What?
We've done 3 shows now. We have done a DFS show talking about DraftKings. Mm-hmm. We have done a betting show. Mm-hmm. And now we're doing TJ After Dark. But we have not yet mentioned the 5th major. The 5th major. This is the 5th major. Can you believe that that didn't even come out of our mouths one time? But that's what it used to be. Everybody used to talk about this as the 5th major. I don't care what it is. All I care about is winning some money this week, winning some bets. And you know what? I think we're going to lead you to that in the TJ After Dark show.
Yeah, the fifth major. I mean, it's a strong field, right? 150 something players, top 65 in ties make the cut after round 2. You need to know that. When you look at this golf course, I agree with you a lot of how you said it's going to play. You're not going to get a lot of roll off the tee. The greens are fast, though. They're going to keep those boys running fast and hot. Because of the overseed, you're not going to get the roll. And if you miss the green, it's going to be easier to get up and down because it's really hard to chip out of grainy Bermuda, which you're not going to have because of the overseed. Brett Swedberg talked about that as well.
Can I mention, when you're you do shows like we do and you do so many, and sometimes like you're after dark and you've had a few drinks and you forget things that you should be talking about, some obvious things. Here's 2 obvious things that I forgot. Par 5 scoring is going to be key this week. These are easy par 5s for the most part. You got to score out here. And here's also another thing. Bogey avoidance, okay? 17 holes out here on this course. It says it in what I read.
It's not true. I mean, I've actually caddied at this event in round.
I don't care.
2.
Well, maybe you didn't see the water. Maybe you didn't see the water. It was behind some trees. Maybe it was behind some trees you didn't even see because you were so hungover you didn't even know that water was there. Maybe you didn't know the water was there. But I'm just going off of what I read. There's a lot of water on this course, and you got to avoid that water, and you got to avoid some bogeys. So I think some of the high scores, like bogey avoidance, you got it. That's a stat to look at. Water avoidance,
aquatic avoidance. You got to
hungover avoidance. You can't be hungover playing this course. You're going to be in trouble.
That's real on the PJ Tour. Okay. No, what I was going to say is I care a lot about ball striking stats this week. I care way less about the putting stats. Just give me the guys who are going to hit the fairways, hit the greens in regulation, give themselves opportunities, be patient, and that's it. When you look at past champs here and the betting odds that they won at, Rory McIlroy won at 14-1 in 2019. Webb Simpson won at 100-1 in 2018. Now he arrives at like 22-1. Siwoo Kim won at 500-1 in 2017. Jason Day at 12-1, and Ricky Flower at 66-1. That's how they said his name at the Bay Hill the other day. He won at 66-1. So you can see it's kind of a mixed bag. You got some shorter names like Rory and Day, 12-1, 14-1, both playing at their peak at the time. And then you got some bombs like Webb, Siwoo Kim, Ricky Fowler, Martin Keimer won at 90-1 in 2014. So it can kind of be even though it's the strongest field in golf, there's a lot of big names. Like guys can pop up and do it here, which makes it really exciting, and I'm excited about it. Let's get into it, Pat. I think let's make this pretty quick and dirty, okay? I don't want to belabor this point. When you look at the shorter odds here on DraftKings Sportsbook, there is one clear-cut value, and I think if you're listening to this show and the number is still here, you need to jump on it, and that is Justin Thomas at 20-1. There's just not a better value to me in that shorter range than JT. He's had a rough year. Strokes gained home life is what we like to call it. Has been tough for old JT. He's had a rough year, but he's had time. He's back on the rise. He's a world-class player. 20-1's a great number for him. The win equity that JT gives you at 20-1 is massive. The fact that anyway, it's amazing. Xander Schauffele's 20-1. JT's got way more win equity than Xander Schauffele, and I know you like that number on Xander, but you can't argue.
I love that number on Xander,
but you can't argue.
I like the JT number better, but
how many more times has JT won than Xander? A lot more times. Has he closed the door? So the value on JT is just too good. We are not guys. We are never going to be guys who are going to sit here and give you, I think Bryson at 15-1 is a good bet. No, bump that. Like, we're not here for your, if you can't figure out between the top 6 guys who you like and who you want to bet, I don't know what you're doing. But anybody can tell you that. Anybody can do that. We're not going to spend a lot of time doing that, but I will say I think Justin Thomas is the clear value play of the week at 20-1. If he's 18-1, you bet him. 17-1, you bet him. I think it's a great play.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like JT. Now, I did mention that I'm a fan of Xander also at 20-1, but JT is definitely my favorite play here. Now, I gotta say, I've been a huge fan of our boy Daniel Berger all year, the last year and a half. He's been fantastic. He's at 33-1. I think that's a good number for him. The guy's just been fantastic, and I think that
fantastic,
just fantastic, just great, fantastic. Another guy that I like here in this middle range is Joaquin Niemann at 66-1. I think that is a great number for him. We've seen him contend, from the start of the year. And I'm talking about not just the PGA Tour season, which nobody can ever tell when it actually starts. It's like the fiscal year that nobody knows when that actually starts. But I'm talking about from the start of the 2021 season with the first tournament of the year in January. He was contending there, and you're getting him at 66-1. I like Joaquin Niemann. Perfect player for this course, okay? No, he does not have a lot of history here at all, okay? I'm fine with that. I think this is a good year for him. I like
no
him 66. Well, I mean, that's what I mean. No history. Okay. I don't have all that in front of me. But I like him at 66-1. I will play him. And so there you go. Anybody else you got in this middle range?
Yeah, I love the Neiman play. I'm with you there. I mean, the combo of distance, accuracy, approach play, low ball flight, the stones to close the door on Sunday if he's in the lead. I love the Neiman play at 66-1 for a first timer. I think it's great value. A little bit shorter, I like the Matthew Fitzpatrick number at 50-1. The way that he's playing right now, Fitzy at 50-1, it gets me going a little bit. The record here is not great, but he's got experience here. Okay, he's got experience here. But finished 10th at the Arnold Palmer last week, 11th at the WGC Mexico, 5th at the Genesis. What's crazy is as short as he is off the tee, he's been gaining strokes. He's been gaining strokes off the tee because he's so accurate. He places the ball so well, and that's important on a Pete Dye golf course, because on a Pete Dye designed golf course, placement in the fairway it can't be understated. It's not just about hitting the fairway. It's about what side of the fairway you hit. If you're an average golfer like we are, you're thinking, what the heck? I'm lucky to hit the fairway. Right. Well, Matthew Fitzpatrick is hitting the proper side of the fairway to give him the best angle into these greens. I love the way he's playing right now. The short game's phenomenal. He's got the stones to close the door and win this thing, and I think he's a good value at 50-1. I'll take it up a notch to 80-1 to Corey Connors, the Canadian that had a chance to win just last week at Bay Hill, had a chance late on Sunday, eagled, I think, the 15th or 16th hole to come within one or two shots to be able to chase down Bryson. Couldn't quite close the door, but he is a PGA Tour winner. He is one of the best iron players on all of the PGA Tour. But Corey Connors can't putt. He's got the can't putt-itis, okay? But on the weeks that he does get the putter rolling, he is deadly. And last week, he did okay for himself. He didn't close the door, but Corey Connors checks a box in every single ball striking category you can think of. And last week at the Arnold Palmer, gained 4 strokes putting. Let's just see if that continues. Finish third, and that's what you get with Corey Connors. If the putter comes around, he's money. At 80-1, that's a long number for a guy who's coming off a great week, a great ball striker. You just got to hope the putter gets going. That's all you need. I think that's probably it for me until we get into the triple digits.
See, I think I don't mind Corey Connors. I'm fine with that, but here's what I think. I think if you want to go with a guy that has just been absolutely fantastic and he has played a ton of tournaments in a row, and so you may be tired of him, but Will Zalatoris at 70-1, I think is a great bet this week. This guy is a great ball striker and he could announce himself to the world this week, even though we know about him.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who follow golf know about him. I mean, 70-1. I love that. I love it. And you know what? If you don't want to do that, then just bet him top 10 at 6-1. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I was looking at the top 10. He's 3-1, top 20. I mean, Willie Z is a stud, man. He is a total stud. You're right. I mean, he's here to stay. 7 events in a row, even for a young guy, is a lot of golf. No experience
I
in
don't think he's been
Sawgrass.
bothered by it though, because we keep talking about it. Like even fourth event in a row, fifth event in a row, we were like, okay, well, he's getting tired. It's not happening for him. I just think that
At some
he's
point, it's
just
gonna. But I mean, he's got to
it
be
will.
juiced to play the best field in golf and to play the tours.
I
Pretty
feel
good.
like this is it. What he's like, everything is kind of culminated up to this point. I feel like he wants to play extremely well this week, and then he's going to take a little bit of a break, and then we'll see what happens, leading up to the Masters and whatever else. But I feel like this is he is a prime candidate to win this week. I like him at 70-1. Big fan. And then after that, I'm going much longer as far as the odds are concerned.
All right, let me start off the triple digit range here with a guy whose odds have shortened since this afternoon. It's Harris English, and I still like the number. He's 100-1. I've seen him as low as 80-1 in certain spots. We just saw him get the irons for Harris English went bye-bye for a few weeks. He won the Tournament of Champions, which everybody was like, oh my God, it's Harris English's coming out party. I mean, he'd been playing so well. He won the Tournament of Champions. Like we see with a lot of, first-time winners on the PJ Tour, there was a big drop-off after that. Well, Harris dropped off. He went miscut, 66th. The irons disappeared after they'd been so consistent, but he found it again at the Arnold Palmer, gaining 4 shots. I like that. This is a golf course. He's talked about how much he loves this course. It suits his game. I mean, it really does. He's a Southern boy. It suits his game from the approach play, the Pete Dye angle. This is a perfect spot for him. The win seems tough, but I think 100-1 is still worth the number. I like that for Harris English. I got 2 more. I guess I'll leave you with one. I know you're going to mention. I'll go 125-1. I'm looking at Ryan Palmer, the PGA Tour journeyman who hits the ball well, checks the box in approach play, checks the box off the tee. Kind of a mixed bag here at the Players Championship. A couple top 25s, some missed cuts, but I mean we've seen Ryan Moore play pretty well since really we all came back from summer with the COVID stuff. Since the tour started back up, he's played pretty well. His best putting surface is Bermuda. I mean, top 5s at Memorial, that's a strong field. The Zozo, that was a strong field. The Tournament of Champions, that was a strong field. The Farmers, he was runner-up just a few months ago. That was a strong field at Torrey Pines. Like, Ryan Palmer can compete in big events. 125-1 is not too long, or I'm sorry, not too short of a number for him. I like that on DraftKings Sportsbook as well. And then finally, I got to go with my boy Keegan Bradley. The ball striking is too tempting. If some little magic fairy dust could just get sprinkled on that putter for 1 week, he could win. The ball striking is so good. It's similar to Corey Connors, where you just need one thing to go well, and the one thing is putting. And guess what we know about putting? It's the most variable thing in golf. It can come and go. 1 week it can be terrible. The next week the hole can look as big as a beach ball, and you feel like you'll never miss. If that 1 week could happen for Keegan, the ball striking is so good that he could hit. He's 150-1. He's also 5-1 top 20. Ryan Palmer's 4.5-1 top 20, as is Harris English. So some top 20 bets if you want some longer numbers in top 20s. I think those 3 names are interesting.
Well, I agree, and I think if a lot of these bets, if you just want to look at them and you don't like to bet them outright, then just maybe do a little bit, go a step further than what we're saying. Make a little effort here and look at what their top 10 is, look at where their top 20 is. And if you like those numbers, then bet them there. But as far as the longer odds for me, I like Max Homa at 110-1. I think that's a good number for him. Look, this guy has been on fire lately. He's played maybe about as many tournaments as Willie Zalatoris is.
Yeah, this is his 7th in a row.
Yeah, a lot in a row, and he's won. He's continued to play well. I still like him at 110 to 1. And then I also like Chris Kirk at 150 to 1. Chris Kirk this is a great course for him. He's had good course history here. We know about his past as far as the issues that he's had, but he's back. Everything is fine. He's been playing well. His ball striking is incredible. I like him at 151. So that will be probably the longest odds guy that I like this week.
Yep, I'm with you. Love the Chris Kirk play. Yeah, that's good stuff, Pat. Thanks for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button here on the DraftKings YouTube channel if you don't mind. And check out the Tour Junkies YouTube channel as well while you're at it. You got a Millie Maker this week on DraftKings. That's awesome. The Players' Championship's just one of the best weeks of the year. I love this week. It's really a great event. Gets us primed, ready for spring, ready for the Masters. It's just, I love it. It's a great week. So enjoy. Check out tourjunkies.com as well. Tons of free content there. Also up on DK Playbook. It's going to be a good week. Let's do it. May your screens be green. Tour Junkies. See ya.
Oh!